for you and me. We've been dealing in this section of the book of Acts, dealing with the deacon whose name is Stephen, the one who was called and chose for the work of ministry, the one who had been assigned and hands had been laid upon to do the things to help in the church. As he began to be mighty in word and deed, it was the church folk who got together and asked this question of him, saying in verse 17 of the 6th chapter, this man ceases not to speak blasphemous words against this holy place and the law. For we have heard him say that this Jesus of Nazareth shall destroy this place and shall change the customs which Moses delivered us. And all that sat in the council, looking steadfastly on him, saw his face as it had been the face of an angel. As we hear Stephen's testimony as to the goodness of God and all the things that God has blessed him to know about the work of the Lord, and he's given a testimony as to the goodness of God. And God hears Stephen, but as he began his declaration of the truth, what they call the apologetics, he's giving his defense of what he believed. But as he presents his case, it says that those who were in the council was looking steadfastly on him. They had their eyes fixed on Stephen. And why did they have their eyes fixed on Stephen? It's because they said that his face did shine as it had been the face of an angel. It was something impressionable about Stephen that in the midst of an attack on him, he still had his focus on the Lord. And the thing is sometimes when you can get so close to the Lord, you have a different look about you. Now in this crowd was one who had persecuted the church. We called him Saul. Saul was standing by as they was accusing Stephen of this wicked work that they said of speaking evil against the temple, and saying that Jesus would destroy the temple. And that was something that they didn't want to hear. But the thing is that as they kept on cursing at Stephen and throwing stones at Stephen and accusing him of all manner of evil, the thing that still held fast to their face was that they couldn't understand why his focus was so much on the Lord. That no matter how much accusations they threw at him, his mind was still looking up to the hills from whence cometh his help. He realized that as he looked up, he saw Jesus on the throne. He saw Jesus face to face, and he no longer was talking to the people, but he was giving testimony unto God. He was in the spirit giving testimony to the history of the church, to the history of how God called Abraham out of a wicked world to go into a land of promise. A promise that he didn't inherit, but a promise that he walked into by faith. And even going through all the history of what was taking place, it was still being recognized how the people of Israel rejected leader after leader after leader. And it seemed just like it was in their DNA, just to resist the man of God. Even when Stephen, as last week we discussed about how Moses came to the rescue of his brothers after recognizing his call to the ministry, to the call of the purposes of God. And even though all the children during that time were to be killed, God saw fit to allow Moses to be spared. How God allowed Moses to be trained in the best education of Egypt and how he spoke many different languages. But when the time of truth came and God gave Moses the assignment, what did Moses say? Lord, I can't talk. I don't know how to speak. I don't speak well. And Lord, you need to get somebody else. Did that remind us of anybody? A lot of us have made this excuse that we can't do this and we can't do that.
Wow.
Don't we know that the Lord knows what we can't do? The thing is, we need to take pride that when God chooses us, he knows what we can't do. But the good news is that he's going to prepare us for the task that he's assigning to our hands. And so again, as Stephen is looking toward Jesus and seeing Jesus, and as he's giving testimony of how they refused Moses as Moses came